So from infrastructure, let's talk education. And this conversation is really important because it affects hundreds of students at the University of Calabar. Well, the challenge for them now is the school is saying, well, we overshot our quota for dentistry. We've done that over the years. And now we may have to transfer you to another school. And the students are saying, no, we've spent years, some of them up to 6 years. And I think, so what happens to all those years spent? Well, we have joining us on the program this morning to get more understanding of this issue and the way forward for the students whose futures are at stake here. The Vice Chancellor of the University of Calabar, Professor Florence Obi, joins us virtually this morning. You're welcome to the Morning Brief, ma'am.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. Social media has been a buzz with this one, with the students, a lot of them protesting, saying, we've spent years in this university studying dentistry. All of a sudden, we're told the school overshot its quota. I might have to leave this campus where we've studied. I imagine if you were to put yourselves in their shoes, it would hurt as well. How did we get here, though? If the quota is 10, how was the school admitting more than 10 year on year up until the point that we now have this situation on our hands? Prof.
Yeah, thank you again for having me. It's actually a very depressing situation for me. It is really very sad, a period for me, especially at the time when I should be relaxing, having spent 4 years in the system. And just when I thought I was on my way out, I should be more settled and relaxed. I'm still faced with challenges of students' problems and the rest of that. However, let me say here that the school, I became Vice Chancellor in the 2020, 1st of December, that is done. And I inherited a lot of challenges in the system, a lot of challenges indeed. One of it is this over-admission of students into dentistry. And dentistry, along with other programs like engineering, pharmacy, music, fine arts, were some of the students that had a lot of challenges when I came on board, and they were actually protesting and asking that their fate was hanging. But gradually, I was able to resolve and solve the problems of these students. And I thought I have actually put in so much solving the problem of dentistry, especially so that
oh dear. We hope we can get the Vice Chancellor back. That's the Vice Chancellor of the University of Calabar in Cross River State, talking about the issue around quota for students of dentistry who are now left stranded. And she was relieving her experience as far as I think she's almost due for leaving office or so, if I understand what she's been trying to say to us. But we're trying to get to the meat of the matter. Visi, can you hear us now, ma? Oh, dear. Okay, so we're just trying to see whether we can reestablish connection with her as soon as possible so that she can speak to the issues as far as the students are concerned. Ma'am, can you hear us now? Yes, I was just trying to let the audience know some of the things, just to recap some of the things you said, but you can land on your thoughts before I throw in my own question.
Okay, so the program, our dentistry program actually started in 2013, 2014, and it started with this same aberration of over-admission of students, and the quota of 10 was given in 2016, and by 2022,
well, it appears the network is not quite supportive of what we're doing, but we'll try and establish connection. But we'll also be speaking with the student union government leadership as well at some point. But wanted to get the thoughts of the Vice Chancellor Florence Obi of the University of Calabar in Cross River State, where we understand the students who are studying dentistry. Yes, I think we can hear you now, ma'am. Go ahead.
I don't know how to diagnose students. I don't know.
Prof, can you hear us, madam?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay,
Awesome.
please go ahead. Just maybe land quickly on your thoughts so that.
Okay,
Yes.
where we are now is essentially because of admission. But for the past 3 years, we haven't admitted students because we're asked not to admit. When they came for the accreditation in 2022, we're told that if we stop admission, they will work out modalities to help graduate as students. And we did stop admission, and they have actually been graduating some sets of our students. Unfortunately, this current set of students are about 30, about 60, and that is why we are having problems. And the council is saying this group is over, is too much, there are too many, they can't bend backward again to accommodate them. And then we should invite them back to the university, and that's the condition that we are given. Invite us back to reassess your facilities and your staff to see if you have the facilities and the staff to even train the number of students you are training, not to talk of training 60 and above students. So right now we are in the process of re-inviting them back to the university to reassess our facilities. And we are sure that when the Dental Council comes, they are going to increase our quota because we have some facilities on ground now, much more than when they came and gave us the quota of 10.
VC, I think it's commendable to say that I think if I heard you well, if I picked that accurately, you said 3 years ago you stopped admitting. That's commendable. Sure. But on one hand, this is also a systemic failure. This is not a problem of the student, it's a systemic failure where I almost wanted to use the word oversubscription, but this is over-admission in that sense. So how long will it take for the council to come to the school, do their verification, accreditation, whatever name this is called, and get a final outcome so that maybe they can increase your quota? Because the students now are literally in limbo. Their future is hanging. And what is the plan B? What if they come and they still say no? What happens to the student? There has to be a plan B administratively.
Yes, the plan B, actually, we are putting in place plan B. And since I visited the council and we're told about the oversubscription or over-admission and the fact that we should be able to send some of the excess students out, we have indeed, we have worked, we've been working so hard, we have been brainstorming, we have been networking with other universities, we have been networking with programs, other programs within the university to see where we can take some of these students, the excess students. So we are having some options we are still working on. We may not be able to say conclusively we have the solution, but I'm sure that before end of this week and getting to next week, where I may travel and perhaps plead with Mr. Our honorable minister to give us audience and attention and to also assist us in some areas, we may be able to come largely with the solution to this. We have discovered that we can move some students around our own university into some other programs, and then the problem really is with the year 5 students, and that is where we have the major challenge. Currently, we have students in year 4, year 5, year 6, and the graduated students who are in their year 7. The year 4 students that are admitted do not have a problem. We will be able to handle that internally because we actually took cognizance of the fact that we had the quota of 10, so we will not have problems with the year 4 students. But the year 5 students that that predates our administration, that is where we are having about 128 students and 97 students in another set, and that is where we have the challenge. And we are going to work around with other universities, with programs in our university, to other departments and programs to see how we can accommodate these students, and then the SS students may likely be asked to go to the universities would have made contacts with and will be willing to take our students.
Well, Prof, so there are a few issues we need to addressed properly. If the quota is 10, why, in God's name, would more than 10, up till 60, I understand, be admitted, knowing fully well that the quota is 10, the approval was given for just 10 students. So why, and who is responsible for this? Because these are issues we need to thrash out, because this is we're talking about the lives of Nigerian students here. People, I mean, admitting them into a lie, living a lie for years. That's on the one hand. Who is responsible for that? And I mean, what must be done? Because we need to talk about consequences here. The students are taught that, well, if you don't do things right, there are consequences. So we need to also prove to them that the system hands out consequences for wrongdoing. That's on the one hand. Secondly, we understand that there are 100-level students who are admitted as well. In fact, some say 200, even 300. So that means that within the past 4 years, admissions were conducted, so you can speak to that on the second hand. Thirdly, pardon me, I'm just trying to pack all the questions into one so we can get value. Thirdly is the fact that these students are saying, it is not our fault. So we can't be made to bear the brunt of something that is not our fault. We have studied for years, and it's a lie all of a sudden. So is it fair to transfer them? So those are three issues I'd like you to speak to. One, consequences. Two, the talk about 100-level students even existing right now. And three, it's not their fault. So why should they bear the brunt?
Yeah, I agree with you, actually. That is not the student's fault, and is it's administrative fault, it's a systemic fault of the administration, and which actually the students are not supposed to bear the brunt. But you know, when you have crisis in your hands, we look for the better way to manage them. Why do we get here? We know the quota. I made you to say that these are problems I inherited. I met this problem, and I am looking for a way out to solve them. The current student where we are having 60, 128, 97, I didn't admit them. And now, like I said, the students admitted when they are 400 level are students we can handle internally, and we have done that. Now they don't have any problem. But to talk about having year 2, year 3, year 4, year 1, 2, and 3 is not correct. Now, let me say here that when we have kept faith with the directives of the Medical and Dental Council not to admit, and for a time before we invite them to come, we thought that having stayed for 3 years without admission, we could admit last year. And then I told the admission officer, let's get 10 people to admit, just keep to the quota. When I was eventually told that they went beyond the 10, I categorically instructed the dean, the provost, and the admission officer that those students have to move out. I was not ready to take chances. We cannot take more than the 10 quota. If we were to take 10, it would have been okay. We should move them. And actually, the students were told all that they were to move. Eventually, I was told, I am the vice chancellor, the boss top on my table, yes. And I take, and actually, I admit that, and I take responsibility for that. But also, you know that in administration, I won't be everywhere at the same time. I have lieutenants who are supposed to give me feedback, and I know what is happening. And let me say here that I didn't know, and it's on record, I have actually told my book, I never knew that we had year 1 students were asked to go, and somebody, the dean has accepted that he asked them to come back, complete year 1, and they will be moved to other departments. And that he has let them know that after year 1, because they are doing the same general science courses, they were going to go to other departments. They did admit, when I got to know that they actually registered year 1 students, he did admit that he asked the students to stay back, and that some of them who know the problems said they were not going to stay back. Some left, some went to other departments, and some left the University of Calabar, actually, and even told us that a number of them have even rewritten JAB to go to other programs. That is the year 1.
Yeah,
but that he actually made it clear to them, and all the year 1 students knew that they were staying there, and they were not going to be dentistry students.
Right, Prof.
But I
let me
feel
quickly
very
come
bad
in here.
that the dean had to go to that level of keeping back students. In fact, the students told me that they were asked to go, they left, and they didn't call them back to come back and register. and that they will leave at the end of year 1.
All right,
That is
Prof.
why we have this.
So just quickly, if you can
we
hear
do
me,
not have
Prof,
year
I
1
just want to get some things clear for the benefit of our
Yes.
viewers. So indeed, you admit that even for the year 1, it overshot the quota. But you're saying that the person responsible for this, is it the dean, the provost, or the admission officer, or all of them together?
All of them together.
So what kind
the
of...
admission officer,
Yes,
the
please.
admission officer who went beyond the quota of 10, and when the provost actually drew my attention to the fact that they went beyond the quota of 10, and I insisted that all the students should go, and the dean kept them back. So the admission officer and the dean are the two people who are culpable in this.
So what's the consequence for this?
So the dean asking them to stay back.
Prof,
and
what will be the consequence for this action? Because we need to put a message out there, even for the previous ones as well. But for the one under you, what is the consequence? What line of action are you taking there? We'll talk about the students.
I'm just saying that I got to know this only last week, Thursday, that we...
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay, let's just try to get the closing thoughts of the Vice Chancellor and get closure for these students as well.
Exactly.
Hopefully, her connection will come back. Okay, Vice Chancellor, you can land. You said you found out on Thursday last week. So what's the consequence? And for the students who say we do not want to be transferred, what other option is available for them? Prof, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was saying you can land on the point you were making about you finding out on Thursday and the consequence. And for the students who say, we don't want to be transferred, it's not fair, what other option is available for them?
No, those are the students of year 5
yes.
and maybe year 5
yes.
principally. Students of year 5 principally. You know that this is not the first time that there are problems in the medical college of a case of transfer. And when they overshoot the quota, usually in the university system, there is this understanding where we have sister university, maybe when there are problems with accreditation or quota. 2 years ago, we helped one of such sister university. Some of the students were moved to UniCal. I know there are some students, universities who will be ready to move them. There are some programs in the University of Calabar that will accommodate some of them. But the problem is because the number is exceedingly too high. I'm talking about 128 students as against 10. Even if we were to keep 20 and thinking of attrition, that would have been okay. But 128, and let me say here that the council knew about this when they came in 2022. They knew the number of students, the detail, which I didn't know the detail of the number of students.
Right.
They knew the number of students in the in dentistry,
okay,
but advised us to stop admission. If in 2022 we were advised to move these students, maybe gradually by now we would have completed that.
Okay, Prof,
but
because
we're
of
told
time.
that if you stop admitting, we'll work out modality of graduating those students.
All right, Prof,
so
because of time, we have to anchor at this point. But the consequence, is that going to be suspension? Is that going to be firing? Is it going to be what exactly
we
would
are
you
going
do?
We are going to invoke the university internal mechanism to put some people first in the university system. You have to make queries. We have to query some people.
Right.
We have to invoke internal mechanisms to handle that. But definitely, there will be consequences.
What about for you? Do you take responsibility as well?
Of course, I'm the head.
All right.
I take responsibility. Even the ones I inherited where I'm having problems, why wouldn't I take responsibility?
Well,
I am the head. I can't deny that.
And I must
take
commend
responsibility, and I feel very bad because I have given my time, my energy to get this dentistry problem sorted, and that is why I had full accreditation in my tenure for the MG camp. I have full accreditation from NUC. I have given so much, and that is why I said it's so depressing to me as the head of the institution. I feel terribly very sad.
We must commend.
This should come up now.
We must commend you for taking responsibility. I will be following this up to ensure that these students at least don't get the shorter end of the stick, because as you said, it's not their fault and the right thing is done by them. We've been speaking with the Vice Chancellor, University of Calabar.
But let me say, let me just say something here.
If you can say 10 seconds.
To appeal.
Yes.
I want to really appeal to the students and to parents, because I've read somewhere where students are getting depressed and some of them are threatening suicide. I want to really appeal to my students to hold it, to be calm, that on my honor, we'll see her together with MG Khan, and I'm going to go to my minister to appeal to him to intervene, because if we have some staff, which is the critical issue, if we have staff and we know that the minister has given us permission to employ, the student we employ them, we are waiting clearance from Federation Budget Office. When we employ those staff and then get the dental chairs that MG Khan has asked us to do, we will be able to invite them back in the next 1 or 2 months, and largely part of these problems will be resolved.
Thank you very much, Professor Florence Obi.
To remain calm.
Professor Florence Obi, Vice Chancellor, University of Calabar, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.